Hello everybody and welcome to Wine Library TV. I'm your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, aka One Tired Fool. So, today's Thursday, and there's been a lot of upsets probably already in the NCAA tournament, and a lot of you Vayniacs are already in last place as I am cruising well on my way to a world championship and rubbing it into your face. That being said, I'm going to shoot the question of the day right out the front. The question of the day today is, what is the greatest prediction you ever made? Love to hear that story. Could be some great comments. Please put it in Lurker. Maybe a Lurker or two wants to come out with their great prediction on that. So I'm tired. You know, obviously you can tell with the shirt and everything. I'm taping this on Wednesday night. I'm not in Thursday because, believe it or not, Thursday, though I have a meeting early in the morning in the city, is the only day of the year that I take off just for my personal self, because that first day, just watching those games just is so phenomenal for me. So that's a scoop with that. You may notice today is supposed to be the episode, and it is, when I gave you about a week head start to tell you which wines we're going to taste. So we're doing that, and that's a lot of fun. A lot of people have been emailing me all day saying, you know, I hope you're still doing that. And I said, oh yeah, I better do that since I was planning on not having any Wine Library TV episode for you. So thank me for not being a great planner for this episode. So you're noticing there's only 3 wines, though I had 4 links. Once again, that lack of preparation came through handy for you, because on the 200th episode, yesterday, I did the ham and Pinot Noir from New Zealand. So if you'd like to pop and taste that, you can easily go, and now with the new Vidler technology, just hit that one link, play, by the Hammond link in that episode, and you'll be right where I tasted it, and you can enjoy that. But unfortunately, for the Hammond and for you and for, you know, just the fact that I'm so dead tired, I should have probably brought it out. But we're going to really taste and evaluate the flavors in this wine, because you've got them in front of you right now, and we could really share in this. So let's get started. I'm really excited about this. We're going to start with the Nyers El Novillero Vineyard Chardonnay, which is 91 points Robert Parker, 36 US dollars. And a great producer, Nyers is. And so I'm excited. Bruce Nyers is a great guy. And I'm excited about trying this wine. So let's kind of taste together. Let's try this out. We're going to do a little different style. First, we poured the wine. I hope you've done that. Second, we're going to look at the color. That's always fun. You know, I enjoy that. Why do we enjoy looking at the color? I guess at the end of the day, all wines kind of have good color, and it makes you feel good. You feel like, yeah, all right, we're off to the right track. We bought the right wine. We feel good. So this one has tremendous color. I mean, almost like fluorescent, almost like when you need to take vitamins of some sorts, and then you go to the bathroom and your pee's fluorescent. That's kind of what this looks like. It's that golden and that on fire and that radioactive. So it's got great color. Let's get in there. Now, when you smell the wine, let's get your whole nose in there and give it a great nose, you know, great big sniff. Do it again. What I'm getting out of this is a light hint of butter, and this has a tremendous lemon custard nose. So if you're catching the lemon or the lemon custard, then you're really on par, because that's really definitely a characteristic coming through in this. There's a little buttered cream on it, which is nice, and slight hints of oak, almost a little hint of, you know, classic white grapes, the food-friendly white grapes coming through as well in the nose. Now let's give it a whirl. Now when you give it a whirl, you want to definitely cover your entire palate. Now grab your trusty New York Jets spit bucket that I know you all have, and spit it in there. Or, like all of you are doing now, laughing at me saying, I'm drinking this stuff, Gary. So, the one thing you might notice is, right away, in your mouth, it's pretty acidic. And it's tangy and acidity and bitter, some people might call it. That is because this wine is extremely young. This is a 2005, and it's a serious wine, and the acidity is just too much. For me, it's overpowering the overall flavor profile. It's also a little hot on the body, 14.4 alcohol, and I feel every bit of it. Do you feel that heat? Do you feel it? It's almost like you took a nice shot of Bombay gin. You know, so there is that heat, but underlining underneath those two flaws of youth are some really beautiful buttered Scotch flavors, a nice hint of apple peel coming through. One thing I think you'll like is you can feel that weight. It's a heavy bottle of Chardonnay. It's a nice structured, complete wine. and the finish goes on. Again, the acidity's cutting through. And so, for me, at this point, and that's when we have to rate it, you know, this wine's not really bringing the thunder as much as I'd like. I'd go 89 points on this wine. I think it's very good. It's a nice structured wine, but it could get better. And if you're watching this and you haven't opened this yet, I know you're going to say thanks a lot. It is a wine to definitely put away. This is a wine that you should definitely consider to put away for about, you know, maybe 4 years, believe it or not. You'll be quite shocked what happens to it. But it's a nice bottle of wine, and if you decant this for 3 or 4 hours, I think you get a totally different experience. Even if you've already popped it and started tasting with me, leave it on your counter and come back to it tomorrow. Leave it just like this, and I'm not even joking. Let's move on. This is going to get real interesting. The little words. Now, this is a wine from Greece. This is the domain Gervasalio, Avaton 2003, and it's a blend of Lamino, Myrotrango, and Moradi, which are all indigenous grapes to Greece, where this is from. And it's a very interesting wine. I've had it once before. It's French. It's aged in 20 months in French oak. It's 93 points wine and spirits. As you know, I'm a pretty big fan of that magazine. $29 US, which makes me think that nobody in their right mind would pick up this wine for any other reason because I told you we're going to taste it together. Because the wine is just flat out esoteric, and 30 bones for a Greek red wine that nobody's ever heard of is not something everybody's going to run out to. But I think we're going to have a lot of fun with it. Let's go with it. So, very dark. Really pitch dark flavors. Color, excuse me. When you smell it, you're not going to like it. I'm telling you right now. I know. Don't punch the screen. It's your screen. It's not my screen. You know. It's got a very stinky nose. There's a lot of people who would not enjoy this style. Again, you could decant this and it would help a lot. But you're getting a lot of that locker room smell on this wine coming through a little bit. I'm getting a little hint of like a blueberry hostess pie. The middle, there's underlining blueberry flavors, but they're very subtle. I know a lot of people won't catch them. I'm also getting some oats and wheat aspect and a little bit of asparagus on the nose. Let's give it a whirl. Now, again, finishes very tannic, very dark. This is a wine that should be put away in your cellar for 10 or 15 years also. So, once again, you're probably saying to yourself, why are we tasting these wines with you, Gary? You made us spend all this money, and then you're telling us we're drinking these wines not at the right time. What's really imperative is analyzing wines that are young. A lot of people who are not in the profession always find wines not to be that good when they're young, or they have issues with the wines when they're young. And so I'm going to tell you a couple little tricks that I like to do that really help me evaluate what I think wine will be for years to come and what Parker and Spector tend to use. You've got to really get to a place where you can release the negative energy and bring in the positive energy. When you're dealing with a wine like this that has a heavy tannin structure and bitterness and dry and sour flavors, you need to really focus on the thought process of what the wine is doing on your mid-palate, which is the transition flavor in between the attack, the first flavor you get, and the finish. And number two, what are the subtle underlining flavors that you get? And realizing, using your common sense, that a young wine from Greece that's very structured like this is going to calm down, blow off the tannins, and you're going to be able to taste the wine. So when you're getting in there, the air into your palate is huge. And that's why I do that crazy thing that I do that a lot of people are like, huh? Most of these wines I do on WLTV are wines that should not be drank now. Most of the wines that are consumed in the U.S. are wines that should not be consumed right now. However, tough luck. We're Americans, right? We just want instant gratification. And it's a mistake at some level with wine, but at the same place, you know, we don't have unlimited storage and we don't know where we're going to be tomorrow. So, you know, we want to taste these wines. So what do you need to do? You need to let the oxygen in, the air in, to break down those tannins to allow you to taste the flavors. If you take this wine right now and do this with me, this is going to be a lot of fun. Take this wine and drink it. Almost can't help myself. Okay? Got it? Grab a piece of cheese, bread, water. Get focused. Now let's do the air thing together. And if you spill all over yourself, don't forget, I'm on camera, not you, so nobody's going to see it. I might, though. It's this whole new technology we're using. Now, I hope you're able to see the subtle differences. For me, the air, when it comes in, almost accelerates the tannins and makes it even more bitter, and I can see a lot of people being like, what is going on right now? But it also helps me find that dark chocolate flavor that I couldn't taste when I straight drank it. That blueberry that I first talked about is there again. The Hostess kind of pie, you know, those things are so great. Anyway, this is a tannic bomb. Way too young, almost very difficult to evaluate. I'm a big fan of the wine, though. It's got tremendous pedigree and tremendous potential. It's a wine that I think can drink for 20 to 25 years. Very impressive. It's going to be really interesting to watch Greece over the next 5 to 7 years. I think it's going to become a wine powerhouse. Let's score this wine 90 points. It's a solid bottle of wine, but the tannins and the bitterness is going to throw a lot of people off, and this is definitely not for everybody. Let's move on. This is a bomb. This is the Burns & Hitchcock Syrah, homage to Ed Oliveira, 2004 from Alder Springs. It's 94 points, Robert Parker, and it is 68 U.S. bones. Let's give it a whirl. Man, that Greek wine is tannic. Titanic, like the movie. All right, let's give it a whirl. Again, great color. See, we're all impressed. Now this wine has a very interesting soapy, creamy flavor going on, almost like a mix between fresh whipped cream and your laundry. You know, so if you're making fresh whipped cream in your laundry room, this is what this wine smells like. Nice though. As you can tell, I think when you're smelling this wine, I think you guys will all agree with me, there's not a lot coming through. Those are two predominant things I get. But it's very tough to smell much of anything. It's a very tight nose. It's a very young wine again. Do you feel the black currant? Do you feel a little bit of that cocoa bean coming through? Really luscious plum flavor coming through on the finish. Do you taste that? Because the plum is really coming through extraordinary. So if you're tasting plum in this, you're really nailing the flavor profile. Very full-bodied, very silky on the finish. Great, great structure. Let this breathe a little bit. Let me do a couple house cleaning things. Jess from the New England area of the United States has asked me to help out. They're the Chicago party and all these things. I'm not going to this, but they are throwing a party, and they feel like there's a lot more people out there. So if you're interested and you're in the Boston, New England area, a link over here, an offline going on. Jess, I got your back, but you have to become a Jets fan. Number two, I have to say this. The Chicago people's efforts and organizational skills are remarkable. It's just profound. The effort that they put together behind this event. Have you seen it? It's nuts. I mean, so much organization. Amazing job. If any other town, when we get involved in doing offlines and I go and fly around, this is going to be the blueprint for executing. I'm kind of talking early. It might stink, right? We might come to the rooster farm and have all sorts of issues. But it looks ridiculously organized. You guys are doing an amazing job. Let's finish this off. Great structure, really firm tannins, really solid stuff. You know, I'm going to get in your face right now. Let's score this wine 92 plus points, and it's an exceptional bottle of Syrah. I like it quite a bit, and it's got tremendous long-term potential. I asked a question a day. I'm real tired. I got hundreds and hundreds of emails, so I'm going to leave you with one simple thing. I think you know what it is. You, with a little bit of me. We're changing the wine world, aren't we? Don't forget the question today was in the beginning.